Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here and welcome back to another random match on WWE 2K18. We are back today with Bobby Roode versus Triple H, which was suggested by Celeb Talk. And I really like this idea of the match. I've always said for a long time now that I always see that Bobby Roode is a natural progression on from Triple H, I suppose. The natural replacement of the current day for what Triple H was back in that sort of day. But I think Bobby Roode has a much better. Oh, it's got the NXT Championship on still. He's got a much better presence. I feel he's got the it factor, if you wanna say that. I suppose. I mean, yeah, there's just this cockiness about him, that just air around him that just makes him just amazing. Really, I don't know what it is. I don't get me wrong. I love his entrance, but inside the ring, he does bore me a bit, and I think that's quite a common thing with a lot of Bobby Roode fans. But I like him. Of course, he has made it onto PJ Tovey's Adrenaline roster for 2K18. This is both PJ Tovey's stuff now, because of course Triple H is on his Mayhem roster as well. So we're going to see a lot of these two guys. I feel like they're both going to be big names for PJ Tovey. And of course, ranking points are going to be available in this random match, as all the random matches are now. And there he is then, Bobby Roode. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm enjoying this one. I've not seen Bobby Roode yet in this game. This is the first look at him for me, so I'm just trying to take in this entrance and everything for now. And it's going to be really cool as well when you see this entrance used in, for example, the Adrenaline Arena and some of the tournaments and so forth we're going to do as it goes through. It's pretty cool. I like that. Can imagine just that. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when that entrance hits at WrestleMania this year? Because he's bound to be at WrestleMania, even though he's not been very well utilised so far in WWE. And I saw somebody get an argument on Twitter the other day with Road Dogg, and Road Dogg cannot take criticism, even though he's part of the main problem there is on SmackDown, because he's the one doing the majority of the writing over on SmackDown at the moment. And I think somebody messaged on Twitter saying, if I was in NXT, I'd beg and beg and beg not to be called up to this rate. How do you mess up something that was working so well as with Bobby Roode? And it's exactly right. You look at SmackDown, you look at the two big names they've taken. SmackDown arguably have taken the two best names NXT have had in the last year or so, and that is Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode. And so far, the two of them look like barely mid-carders on SmackDown. And you've got Sami Zayn there struggling as well. I don't know if Sami's going to do a bit better now that he's got into this heel run alongside Kevin Owens, but you've got Dolph Ziggler, who's a very talented individual and was incredibly over a couple of years ago. He has the ability to be incredibly over, but it's just SmackDown just seems to focus solely on Jinder. Now, I'd admit, I was an advocate of the Jinder experiment at the very beginning, but it's run its course, and everyone's been very much stuck with tunnel vision with the Jinder by the looks of it with the writing. And they need to verify, they need to give us some sort of some sort of variation, not verification. We want to see the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura at the top, and we know we've had a couple of championship matches recently, and Jinder's been beating him clean. That's the biggest worry. I don't know. We'll get there in the end. I'm going to stop venting now. So Triple H is going to be accompanied to the ring by Stephanie McMahon, which I like. I've not seen Triple H so far this year either. He's looking pretty good. I think the Triple H we're using on Mayhem is the Hunter Hearst Helmsley style Triple H. Of course, the Click/DX version of Triple H. So to use the current day Triple H. Now this match here is not completely out of the question for the future as well. I can see this happening at some point. A face Bobby Roode versus a heel Triple H. This could happen. We know Hunter likes to get back in the ring for WrestleMania now. He's about the only person left now from the Attitude Era that will be, because of course, well, you still got Kane knocking around, I suppose. Big Show did say last year it was his last WrestleMania. Taker looks like he's retired. Whether he does come back, there's rumours that he could come back for Survivor Series, but Triple H for me is the one man who seems like he's just going to continue on for a few more years. He seems to have his body in the right shape and so forth. I reckon he could still come back and have a few matches. And see, Triple H is the justification for The Miz at this point in time. The Miz says he wrestles a lot more safely than most other people, but he still puts on a good match. And that's what Triple H did for the majority of his career. Triple H never took massive spots or so forth. If he did, it was very, very rarely. And that's led him to having this longevity and having the fact that he can come back and wrestle. And you can see Triple H come back for for WrestleMania for a good 5-10 years still. And this match here against Bobby Roode would not be out of the question, in my opinion, for a match that we could see at a WrestleMania or even a smaller pay-per-view. But yeah, once again, thanks for Celeb Talk for suggesting this one. Of course, if anyone else has any other suggestions for random matches, then please do drop them in the comment section down below. I will get them recorded, and if yours gets pulled out of the hat, of course I'll get it recorded, and then you will get a shout out in the process, just as Celeb Talk has here today. So, Bobby Roode versus Triple H. Attitude versus current day. Because I always said as well that I think I made the comment a few times, the beer money, Bobby Roode and James Storm, essentially was DX. Essentially, wasn't it? You have you had Bobby Roode, who effectively was Triple H, as we all said. Then you had James Storm. You had a cowboy who likes to use a super kick as his finisher maneuver. That's just basically James Storm, and it's also basically Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels lives on a ranch now, doesn't he? Nice boot right in the gut there by Bobby Roode on Triple H. Roode bringing Hunter back up to a seated base now, back up to a kneeling base now. So, of course, keep an eye out for this one as well. That both these guys love to utilise that big spine buster. As Triple H catching Bobby Roode. And I like that sort of roll out the ring, just take a few seconds by Bobby Roode there. It's a nice little addition to the game this year. They had it vaguely before, but it never really looked that good. You rolled out the ring and you were instantly fine. It was a bit of an iffy looking one, but now it's sort of it flows a lot better. As Roode kicks out there after a 1. Triple H now. Oh, Roode catching him with a knee in the gut. Scooping up onto his shoulders, but Triple H fighting back into a reverse DDT. Hunter now bringing Bobby Roode back up. Looking for a belly-to-belly, but Roode fighting back with the elbow in the head. Now Roode catching Hunter. I'm going to assume that Hunter's rated higher than Roode here. I'm not 100% sure, though. I didn't pay that much attention when I started this match up, to be honest. Triple H. Oh, taking Roode. Triple H just pile drivered Bobby Roode. That's interesting. I've had this discussion, I think, before with one of the random matches where the pile driver is sort of a frowned upon move now in wrestling. And I can understand maybe some of the more classical wrestlers having it in their movesets, because in their day and age they did use it, but using people like Triple H's current day version having the pile driver is a little bit out there. It's a move I like, don't get me wrong, but I just thought it'd be something they would frown upon now. Like, no one's able to use the pile driver anymore. I think even the Tombstone pile driver was just Undertaker's thing now. I can't see anyone else ever being able to use that sort of maneuver. Apart from Kane, maybe. It's just too dangerous, isn't it? You hit it slightly wrong and you've broken someone's neck. It's a risky maneuver. Especially the amount of people that are out in WWE at the moment. Everyone's ill or not happy or walked out, all sorts. They're missing so many people. I think Raw alone, of course, never walked out. Rumour has it that Nia Jax has walked out. You've got Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns and Bo Dallas, all with some sort of viral infection. Been likened to meningitis. How true that is, I've got no idea. I don't think meningitis is contagious, so I can't see it being that, to be honest. But if it is, it's very, very random. Bobby Roode here, bringing Triple H across. Triple H fights out of the corner, then a chop block to the back of the knee of Bobby Roode. And that's a very intelligent move there by Triple H. It's one that both these guys have utilised quite well. Just picking the body part and working it down and weakening your opponent's legs by also be decent for a submission in the future, but also weakening what they can do as well. If that leg gives way, it could be a problem for Bobby Roode, who now has taken Triple H to town here. So this we're going to see some ranking points swing here, aren't we? Like I said, it's either going to go towards Adrenaline with Bobby Roode, or it's going to go back towards Mayhem with Triple H. Both these guys need the ranking points, to be fair, for their respective brands. Bobby Roode is the Intercontinental Champion Adrenaline, so he's not getting too bad, I suppose. But Triple H is going to want to get involved in that championship picture a bit more in Mayhem. Did have the best of times in Season 1 of the Universe, man. I didn't really use him much in Throwdown, as much as I should have done anyway. Triple H. Oh, here he goes. Caught the arms of Bobby Roode. There's the pedigree, and that could be game, set, match here in the NXT arena. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Triple H has picked up the victory over Bobby Roode. And that's a good amount of ranking points for him. Exactly what he needed. So that means that Triple H is going to gain 5. Bobby Roode is going to lose 5. And it was a pretty back and forth match, but I think Triple H always had the underlying control. You could always sort of tell. Bobby Roode, I feel like in time would be able to pick up a victory in this match, but the one thing I like about this year's game, I know it's going to sound a really stupid thing, but we're getting a lot more finishes from finisher maneuvers. And last year, it got a little bit crazy, especially towards the end, where you'd have to hit your finisher maneuver 2, 3, 4 times to get a win. This year, 9 times out of 10, the first time you hit your finisher, it is the end of the match, and that makes more sense to me. It does. The matches are a little bit shorter, but I don't think it's a major problem. I think it works out quite well for the Universe mode, actually. But there we go then. Triple H is victorious. He's taken the ranking points back to Mayhem, of course, and transferring them back onto his older, or his younger self, should I say. His DX version. And he's going to be happy with that. Very, very happy. So once again, thank you very much to Celeb Talk for this suggestion. And of course, if anyone else has any other suggestions, then please drop them down in the comment section down below. If they get pulled out the hat, like I said, you will get a shout out in the process. Okay guys, that's the end of this video. Hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do like. And then of course, if you're new around here and you want to see some more, then hit that subscribe button as well. Especially if you made a suggestion, because you're not going to miss it if your suggestion comes up, are you? I've been Chevy Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you very, very soon for another episode of the WWE 2K18 Random Matches. Bye.